Welcome back. Welcome back and welcome more back. I appreciate y'all coming to the channel. It's popping. Everybody, what's good with y'all? Yo, I wanted to holler at y'all about what's going on online right now, and currently it is a lot of mess for that young bro named 4Extra, which is like a young rapper podcaster. He's really famous in the game, so welcome back to the channel and all that good stuff. But yo, it's like really a phenomenon to see what happened to that guy. The fact that he was able to blow his hand off. You can't even imagine something like that happening to you, or even somebody you know. Is really a shock. And him being so young, you imagine that this would not happen to somebody so young. And even honestly, it happened to people even younger than him. But today's conversation is not necessarily about the fact that he actually has had accident where his hand was blown off, but he's also dealt with the fact that he doesn't have insurance. And without having insurance, you're talking about really a phenomenon in your personal life because, and here's the real catch of it, the young guy acts gangster. He talks gangster. He conveys himself as a gangster. Now, let's say he's not a gangster. Let's say he's not really a gangster like that. This is a persona for the internet. It's fun. It brings a lot of people to you. Interest from people to watch you and like you, but technically your life ain't right because when it come down to health insurance, who gonna help you? Where the gangsters at? They got the money. Where the bank account? You know you can't retire as a G. That don't work. That don't happen. No retirement for a G. You know what I'm saying? So he basically put himself in a scenario now where he has to be trying to find money to take care of his personal life because these people is gonna be wanting so much money from him. So now having to get a GoFundMe mean what? You got to try to wait for people to send money in. And then if your persona is so gangster and thuggish and ruggish, people might not send that money in. You know, they might look at you and say, I'm not finna send this nigga no damn money. Who do you think you're talking to? Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? And you sitting back like, I really need this. I really need this. And they looking at you like, you're a straight up clown. You know what I'm saying? So it's really crazy because you're talking about a life-changing event. Your hand being blown off, man, your life is different forevermore. It probably will never be the same. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, because you're talking about mental shit that you got to get over. The actual thoughts in your brain about having your hand gone. You know, and then especially if it's your dominant hand, the one that you fight with, the one that you swing with, the one that you live with. It's like that's the hand that's gone. So now what do? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how do you take care of yourself when you're going to probably, and in my last video, I had showcased why the guy is going to be considered, what the word is now, handicapped. You know, in a lot of ways, he's going to be a handicapped person right now. It's not going to really be, you know, he'll be able to park up close. And that's nothing he's probably thinking about right now, but the world is already set up to help people who can't help themselves. You know what I'm saying? If you're financially not in a good position, then the world is already set up for people like that. You can go sign up and get, I think it's a check, SSI or something like that. Yeah, because your life started changing to the extent that you might not be able to financially take care of yourself. So now you can't get a job. You know, this dude lived his life saying he a fighter or he'll punch you and all this old shit, which is people do that. You know what I'm saying? You got MMA people, you got people who do that kind of shit. You know, so this is his whole claim to fame. I'm a gangster, I'll beat you up. So that means you need your hands. So without your hands, you can't beat no damn body up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need your hands to even pursue the persona that he's doing. And then you even see a lot of the guys trying to diss him and disrespect him and talk down on him. You know, and my father used to always say that people, your friend, hey, what's up, Jerry? God bless you too, my friend. My father used to say that people wait for you to fall down, and that's when they kick you. My father used to be like, you think people your friend, but it's a time when you might go down, and then that's when you will see the true testament of a friend. And if they kick you when you're down, then you know that's not a friend. So now you can see where maybe these people was beefing online or had different problems with each other, but now it's coming all out. Everybody see this guy's videos popping out, disrespecting him, talking down on him. And again, this could happen to anybody. If you outside playing with firecrackers, you could even be a child. In my city, it's all over the news right now that an 11-year-old kid blew himself up. And this is after 4Extra. So he was a child. He probably never even knew that was happening to that guy. But him being a kid, he over there kicking it with firecrackers, and they blew him up. This is in my town, and it's all over the news. So it's a kid. You know what I'm saying? You would assume that it happened to a kid because a kid ain't going to know nothing. And plus, he might be sneaking and getting to the damn fireworks. Might be too close. You be thinking you could run away, but you can't run away that fast. You know what I'm saying? So, whew. Yeah, Jerry, we're gonna stick on the subject, my brother. But what's up, Junebug? We trying to wonder about having a GoFundMe, and this guy is a person who brought a lot of celebrity to the No Jumper platform. So you would assume that he could go and ask them for money to try to help get his physical body back straight. But the fact that he can't go ask them for money, the fact that they look at him as a liability, and it's like, what do you mean? We wasn't there when you broke your hand. We wasn't there. Kaboom, what's up? Then MC, then Mick, or whatever you call it, then MC 725. Yeah, so we understand that you're gonna be needing money and all that stuff, but it's kind of really telling when you're a gangster in the streets and you're a certain amount of age, 28, 30, and you don't really have your shit together where you can go get insurance for yourself in case something happened to you. When you were a kid, your mother always be telling you, now if you be careful out there, make sure you got on clean drawers. That's about as far as health care goes when you're a kid. They telling you make sure you got on clean drawers in case something happen to you. As if you fall down or hurt yourself or get hit, then you go into the hospital and they unzip your pants, take your pants off. Then they like, oh, he got on clean drawers. That's the insurance. That's all Obamacare really require is clean drawers. And then if you got on dirty drawers, then it's like, I'm sorry, sir. It's not you. You came in here on your own. We didn't ask you to come here, but we can't help you. So it's like, but that's not health insurance. Health insurance is basically having a job and the company pays through some system, and then all of a sudden if something happened to you in the future, you can count on that little credit card number that they give you to go inside a hospital or a clinic and get help. If you don't have these things, which many Americans don't, then what do? Everybody can't go and get a GoFundMe. Everybody don't even know how to set up a GoFundMe. Like, you got to know how to do emails, responses. I think on those things you got to be able to give tiers of gifts and shit to people. So it's a lot going on with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you're not savvy or you got arthritis, you're not really building up no email list of people to text. You know what I'm saying? So he got a fan base out there. So it's a high possibility that somebody will donate to him. And you're going to need that. You know what I'm saying? Who walking around with a lost hand? I mean, come on. Just mentally, you're going to need help. Just mentally, you're going to need somebody to talk to damn near every day. Especially right when it first happened. Let's keep it real. Let's not fake like, the boy ain't just really went through one of the most traumatic experiences a human can go through. Losing a limb. The only difference between him losing a limb and it happening to somebody else is he's on the internet. He got a fame behind his life, and that's the only thing that makes it different. Because otherwise, if you lost your hand like that, you're going to be scared. You're going to be locked in a hospital taking some freaking pills, talking to family members, zoning in and out of your sleep. You're not going to be thinking about, if I go back to jail, am I going to be able to fight? You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to be thinking about, let me tell these people what I think because, hey, this will happen to me, but I know the whole world knows. That's so far away from your damn brain. Say DJ Paul got that scary movie hand. He cool. But technically, DJ Paul looked like he was born like that. That don't look like he went out, fell on some damn rocks, and then all of a sudden his hand did that. He actually was probably born like that, or it's a defect from a disease. Like, I don't know that problem. But we do know that 4Extra actually blew his hand up from actually being out on the streets, and that really affected him in a negative way. And it's really sad because he's young, so he wasn't expecting that. I'm sure you know that. Nobody is expecting to lose no damn hand. And you young, so you're going to need your hand. I could just think now in my own life, imagine losing my hand in my 20s. Now you're talking about 30 years into my future. You saying my right hand is going to be gone the whole time. So beyond grabbing stuff, shooting basketball, punching, I don't know, lifting up a cup of water, I'm going to be in a nightclub as a young man, 29, 28, 33, and I'm going to be walking up on a girl like, hey, can I holler at you? And she'd be like, oh, how you doing? My hand down. Then all of a sudden I got to naturally reach up and scratch my hair, wipe my face, and she's saying, damn, what the fuck happened to your hand? Oh, I was an accident and shit like that. Then you set your drink down for a second. She done dipped into the crowd on your ass. Like, where old girl go? What the fuck? I done bought this bitch 3 drinks. And she looking at you like, I'm not going to deal with no handicapped guy. So you're really talking about a life-changing event. Now you have to find a female that's going to put up with you with a broken hand, with a hand that's severed, that's going to deal with that, because you got to talk about you're a handicapped human now, regardless of how you look at it or not. You only got less than one hand. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, is the world set up for people with one hand? It's not. The world is set up for people with 2 hands. So this is a mental adjustment. This is a physical adjustment. This is a psychological adjustment that he got to deal with. And I remember when people, I know like one of my buddies, he got shot a few years back. Anytime it get ready to rain, he always says, damn, I feel it. Damn, I feel, man, it's finna rain, man. It's finna rain. And you sit back like, what? And then he like, look, I can feel it, man. When you get shot or when you something like that break, your body tells you ahead of time about what's going on. I'm like, damn, that's really unique. So imagine this guy with no hand, and you're still thinking, because you had a hand since you was born, the different things that you're gonna do with your hand. Like you just imagining, like, oh, let me go grab something. Or let me go over here and do this. You're like, oh shit, reaching for the door, and it's like, oh fuck, I ain't got no thing. You might be hitting your stumping your hand on walls and shit like that until you get comfortable with the psychological understanding that you don't have a hand. You know what I'm saying? I am not fucking with you, Mr. Boca. See, we was homies when you jumped on here, but when you went to the nose, you lost me. No crazy ass, man. The bogus part about what you just did, Mr. Boca, is only people who really drive reckless with me about my nose is my brothers. My actual living brothers that came from my mama. These niggas got the same fucking makeup as me, but they diss my nose like I'm a fucking foreigner. And it's crazy. So so that's crazy when people do that. Not people, most people don't even do that shit. So that's what make me laugh. Because motherfuckers, only my brothers do that shit. Only motherfuckers that know me do that nose bullshit. But it's all good. I ain't tripping, nigga. It just made me laugh because motherfuckers, everybody on here just be living their life, and then rarely somebody do the nose thing, and that's funny as fuck to me. Because my brothers do that shit. You know how you a kid and they know that bothers you, so they'll just be like, hand me that. You be like, no. They be like, shut your big nose out. You like, motherfucker, the nose shit again. You got me. That was a good one. Yo, so anyway, but yeah, it's just really crazy to see how the guy's life is going to change in such a dramatic fashion and things like that. And it's like you wish the best for people, but it's like, I don't even know how to imagine. Look at that. Just putting your hand on top of your head like that. Like that's something you don't think about as an abnormality, but it's something that you can't do no more. I had a car accident about 3 months ago, and it was a horrific car accident. I'm so grateful to be alive. God, thank you. I'm alive. The kid crashed into me, and his car flipped over. My car spent out. It was really, really weird how the accident came about. My chest was hurt, broken. Like, and I guess that, what they call that thing, the bag, whatever, boom, in my chest, right? So after the fact, I'm like 2-3 days later, I'm like, well, fuck it, I'm finna go to the gas station. And I jump in the car, like, man, that shit hurt so bad. I'm like, what the fuck? So wait a minute. I thought driving was your arms. Like, my whole life, I'm thinking, he said, God gave you that nose. Nothing wrong with it. Thank you, Flora. I appreciate that. See that? It's always somebody that'll swing back with some goodness and shit. So that was funny. I told my lady, I was like, when I get rich, I'm going to grab that Michael Jackson doctor. I'm going to lock his ass in the basement, and I'm finna hook. I said, give me anything white. I'm just going to have a whole picture of the noses on that. Give me anything white up it. I'm just joking. They thought I was serious and shit, but I'm not. It's like, that came from my grandparents, I guess. What the fuck can I say? But that's what I'm bugging. I'm like, my brothers and them, they came from the same mother and father, but they would do the nose comedy on me so bad. They used to be like, what do I say back? Like, anyway. But yeah, so I just think that that's crazy for that young dude, man, to have had a hand be removed. And y'all gotta let me know, can you go on without your hand? Can you go on? Now, this is a serious one. Like, for instance, you had your hand all your life, every day, blah, 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 blah. You never thought about nothing. And then one regular day is gone. So then the next day and every day forward, you have forgotten that you lost your hand. It's not even something you think about normally. But then you realize again, like, damn, that's right. Man, I don't have my hand. Like, well, hey, wait, hold up. Damn, that's right. I lost my hand. Wait, what the fuck? I don't have a hand. Like, what the fuck happened? Because, you can be in a traumatic moment. You might be in shock. You might not even realize that this thing is gone until you need to do it or grab something. Or, naturally somebody be like, man, we got to grab these water bottles. And you even walk over there yourself and like, oh, shit, I can't grab my fucking water bottles. How about opening a water bottle? Imagine the simplisticness of opening a water bottle. It's something you don't even think about. Sometimes females will hand you a cup, a bottle, and be like, can you open this for me? Or a jar. Can you open this for me? It's just a natural thing. People do that. You like, okay, cool. But you ain't got no hand. So it's like, it's little things like that that's going to traumatize you and make your ass be like, I can't believe I went through this. I can't believe God put me through this, So that's the part right there that's going to be the biggest the difference maker in my mind. Yo, give me a couple seconds. I gotta run to the bathroom. All right. Yeah, so when you think about that, it's like, damn. So needing to GoFundMe, and then you the biggest gangster on the internet. Imagine that. You so damn tough. You ain't got $50,000. You ain't got $100,000. You ain't got $10,000 sitting around. If that don't teach you what the fuck is going on in the real world, probably nothing will, man. So can anybody judge someone's features that is natural? If it's store-bought, then you can say something like the BBLs and changing your God-given gender. That's free for all. I agree with you too, bro. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You heard that, Mr. Boca. You heard that. No, he don't mean no harm, man. That's just what people do. A lot of times, we just come in and we do it. What's it called? Like signifying. They call it signifying in my city. I think they got so many words for that kind of stuff. But it's just jokes. It's just somebody just cracking jokes, man. You don't take none of that personally. You actually supposed to say something back. You actually supposed to say something back. But I just took the victim role just because it's my channel and it's a lot of y'all, so I can play victim for like 10 seconds. My brother would never let me do victim game, so I could never be a victim. I had to come back when you get talked about in the story. So yeah, so I mean, even like that, you know, clapping your hand. See, I don't even know if you can go without having a hand like that, because the thought again of not using it so regular. Again, I was trying to drive and I didn't realize that driving a car literally come from your chest. It's something I never imagined. It never crossed my mind. I didn't think about that. I'm thinking I've been driving with my arms my whole life. Like, who the fuck you drive like this? Like, what the fuck? And then you getting in the car when your chest broke and it's like, shit. So you can't turn right? This shit painful as a fuck turning right. Oh my God, damn. You know what? I gotta wait till I heal to even fucking drive a car, because your body is just a machine. And if it's cracked or broken, you take a while for it to adjust. And then you start realizing that coughing matters when your chest is broken, boo-booing, anything you do that you would never imagine, it matters. And then all these things is connected to it. Your legs is connected to it, your back connected to it. So these are things that you wouldn't imagine until something happened to that particular part of your body. So when you see this young guy who actually has broken and lost in a hand, imagine the pain in the nerves that's shooting up your arm, that you can never get back those nerve endings no more. You know what I'm saying? Using your hand to touch a girl's body or anything like that. You got to have one of the most important, strong minds in the world in order to go through this, because again, it's traumatic. You know, we all think about trying to eat healthy now because you've all heard about people who use through diabetes. They might lose their vision, or they might lose their toes, or lose their legs, or use a limb. And this is a real shit. They're going to cut that thing off in order for you to continue living. And it's like, wait a minute. So in order for me to keep going on with my life, I got to cut off my arm, I got to cut off my foot. Yes, that's the thing. And then you hopefully, if you do lose those arms or extremities, that the item will allow you to keep living. Because you know, in some animals, if you lose an extremity, it come back. Like an eagle, if he cut off his beak, or if he cut off his tips or his claws, they come back. You know, if a snake cut off a worm, with certain animals or insects, if they lose something, it grow back. So it's not like they really, you know, it take a minute, you know what I'm saying, but then it grow back. But as a human, and something, that's a child when you're thinking like, if I lose my arm, it's gonna come back more bionic. No, you lose an arm, it's gone. And then it's gone for the rest of your life. Now they got prosthetic stuff and all like that. And I think that's why this guy's gonna need a GoFundMe account, because when you talk about getting those professional doctors to work in all of those areas, who prosthetic people who put these things together, and they're going to cost a certain amount of money, then it's going to cost a certain amount of money to attach it to your body, then it will take a certain amount of money to teach you how to utilize it, and then it will take a certain amount of money in case anything happened during the time of having it. You know what I'm saying? So imagine you don't feel your hand so much no more, and you end up slamming that prosthetic hand in the door of a car, just sporadically. You're not even imagining that your hand wasn't there because you haven't used this hand like that. And it's like, ow, boom, you don't feel the bang, but you know this machine acting funny now. You like, I gotta call the fucking doctors, man. My damn machine, I can't stuck like this. It's like, what the fuck? You know, it's like real world, real ideal understanding. And see, so that kid who dealing with this should expand his brain. You know what I'm saying? Instead of looking for the media from podcasting and talking shit on the internet to be your beacon to make your money, this is actually an open door for him inside the world of handicapped life, the world of people who have lost limbs, the people who have lost extremities probably through the wars or through health. And this will be a door open for him to parlay into that. And then he could be a spokesperson. He could be a person who talk about this, or even bring awareness to even prosthesis or whatever the word is, to talk about that stuff, because it's really a world. You know what I mean? And it's an actual world, and people actually, occupational therapy, I don't know what exactly it's called, but it's definitely something that he probably never thought he would be stepping into. But imagine the world that is they robbing people. You know what I mean? Imagine they taking your whole insurance bill, like whatever you come in there with. You need this, so it's like $56,000. Yeah, that's how much it costs. And you sit back like, damn, I thought I was gonna have $5 left over. And the dude get in there and bring awareness to that world, because he has to go through it now. And again, he got to use a GoFundMe. So the people looking at it, how long your money gonna take to build up in GoFundMe? And then imagine that GoFundMe is a one-time event. So maybe you did a GoFundMe and they build you up, what, 1.2 million? Let's just say 1.2 million. And you could pay the first roll of those bills. But now, here goes 3 years later. You really need the more money to keep going through therapy, keep going through this prosthesis therapy, and you can't afford it. You know what I'm saying? They looking at you like that paid for the first 3 years. Now you really need more money for us to continue to. You ain't got no job. Now you gonna podcast your way through that? Maybe you can. But the reality of it is, you're gonna need a certain level of money and a certain therapy from certain doctors in that arena who's going to actually take time to deal with you. You know what I'm saying? Bro, Hurricane say, bro, cooked. And it do seem like that. That is because we are people with two hands. So again, psychologically, it's hard to understand not having one in your hands. Even if you can visually see it on somebody, or even if you can understand it, because we are thinking people, it's hard to really fathom not having one in your hands. We look at me, I talk with my hands. You know what I mean? I talk with my hands. And then what about another person who might, I don't know, whatever it is that do your job. Maybe you play pianos or the guitar. Or for this guy, he like to squabble. You know what I'm saying? Your squabbling days are completely done, because anybody who fights you or who do some kind of interaction with you in the physical realm, they're going to look at that hand and be like, attack. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, it's time to fight. Grab that fucking hand and punch the shit out of it. I don't know, whatever they're gonna think, because it's a moment. So they're gonna look at that shit and be like, I don't care. We in the fight. You could punch me in my face all you want to. I'm going for that hand. I'm biting the shit out of it. Whatever the person is doing. I'm telling myself, ain't no more squabbles. That's an old look. When I was young, I squabbled. I'm not doing that no damn. I'm gonna squabble with my whole hand packed up and wrapped up like what? And then it's not your hand. It's actually the stump or whatever area that they allow him to continue to keep. So what if it's your fingers gone and now you just got that part down? Or what if they took the whole hand and now it's just the elbow up? Or what if they had to cut back here because of what they call that stuff, your bacteria and all that shit building up in your hand? It's other people making decisions for your life. It's other people deciding that. And then even it's the internet, but people were saying, oh, since somebody died, or I'm sorry, it was another person supposedly who had got his face blown up close by the guy. What's up, Kate? And they were saying that this guy blew his face up, and so now this guy for extra might be trying to get ready to go to jail because he has something that affected somebody else and almost hurt that person or maybe killed him. It's really kind of hush hush, because you see the veracity and the extent of the injuries. So you really don't hear too much succinctness of what actually happened that day, but just from the photos and everything going out, that's crazy. And like somebody else said, That's funny that that guy could actually blow up his hand, and then somebody standing right there with a still photo or a video, and they got it all filmed, and then they actually put it up. It's not even no privacy or personal moment where it's like, hey, this fucking happened to me. The person wants the virality. The person want to be known and seen. Hey, you find that right here on my channel? Let me blow up my channel. Hey, I'm sorry that happened to you, bro, but you know the game we in. You know what I'm saying? So that's the part of it that make you feel a little fucked up for the dude. It's like, damn, man, people don't even care. But, you know, his personality online was one where he acted as if he didn't care. That was his whole personality. Like, yeah, fuck y'all. I'll never beat your ass and all this shit. So it was giving him that reality that, you know, he was down for whatever. Even any kind of chaos, he was down for. So if somebody would have been like, I want to fight you, or somebody would have been like, I want to get at you, appreciate that, Kate. If somebody would have jumped in his face, he would have been down to go murder and kill or fight, you know. And that could have been just a part of his thing, you know, because people say salacious stuff online all the time. Do you believe him all the time? It's not necessarily what you can know. But the fact that he would do that, it leaves you to be wondering, was he telling the truth? Was he lying about his reacted? Was he lying about any of that stuff? He said he had 10 squabbles in some prison or jail. Then they put him in another spot. He had 10 more squabbles. Then they moved him to another area or whatever. When he was been there another time, he had 9 squabbles. And squabbles are fights. And you can imagine a fight with a person you don't know. Okay, cool. We'll see you on the way back. Okay. And so now you fighting this person and you going at it. But you got 9 more to go. You got 8 more to go. And the dude said, you ain't tired? He said, nah, I ain't tired. I work out every day, all day. Most humans would be, boy, after 2, be like, hey, I'm good. We gonna talk about this tomorrow. Let me get some rest. But he a health nut. He work out like a motherfucker, so it ain't no problem for him to jump back up and do it again. Jump back up and do it again. And that's gonna gain you hella respect from people, especially strangers, because they gonna look at it and say, what the fuck reason would you want to fight 10 damn people? Why would you want to get into a beat? And we now imagine you fresh off the streets or you fresh off another area, and then you come into the area where these guys at, and they've been working out, living their life, whatever the fuck. Remember, everybody's strangers. So now you in there, they cock diesel, you cock diesel, and it's like a clash, boom. And then whatever happened. So now here come the next guy, boom. And then you did this 10 times. The people going to that damn place going to be like, man, we respect that dude. He just fought 10 motherfuckers. He don't know Ronnie always doing push-ups, or Eddie always did 100 burpees a day, or this guy running himself for 2 hours every morning. Like, he don't care what your workout game is or what your fighting record is. It's like, well, when I'm getting in there, we're going to have to fight it out. You're going to know who to respect when I come in the room. That's going to gain you a whole lot of respect from guys who you don't know. Because many men going to be like, I ain't trying to fight no damn body. I don't know where this motherfucker from. I don't feel like doing all that. What's up, Petro? But he actually did do it from his claim, and that claim again is something that's going to keep his name ringing because we just don't know if he's true. Yeah, I saw that saying he could beat up boxers. You know that ain't true. He could beat up jail boxers, but he ain't beating up no real boxers because they gonna have precision tune, and they know where they hit you, where it affects you, versus just a squabble, which means by the word alone that it's a wild event, it's a wild interaction with 2 dudes or whatever, and they just going at it, but it's not necessarily specifically they got some kind of rule. I mean, the rules is probably, all right, that's enough, somebody bleeding, or that's enough, somebody coming. So it's probably not no real rules in the fights, you know what I'm saying? But a squabble again is a tumultuous fight because now you don't know what that person know. From a real fighter or some shit you wouldn't know. Hell no, jail boxers are not real jail boxers, King. I agree, because but it can hurt you just the same, you know. And if you're not a professional boxer or you're not a person that actually deals with that type of world, you can get your ass hurt, you know, dealing with people that's fighting in that regard. So, you know what I'm saying? You don't even want to put yourself in that scenario. And I think that's what makes guys so interesting, because why would you put yourself in that scenario? What reason would you try to, me say Diddy, huh? Looking for Diddy out here. Why would you put yourself in that scenario where you finna battle all these dudes? Like, what's the fucking rhyme and reason of that? You know, I know it's jail. I know he got locked up. Apparently, they say he was fighting a murder case, and he beat it. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it's almost like this government was like, you know what? They think they gangsters out here. Let's let old boy out who we got locked up, the one who be fighting that motherfucking body. Let him go back to the neighborhood and see what kind of shit he can do, because he in this damn jail holding hell down. And you know, if you could fight 10, 20 guys, everybody ain't fucking trying to fight you. Staying dangerous. Faux Nub was good. He said, I ain't trying to have them fights. So let that nigga go out in the world. And then it really chaos. cause ruckus to the game because that's just what he do. That's what he is. Everybody see him and it's like, hey, he'll fight you, he'll pull it with you, he'll jump in your face, he'll beat your ass, he want to get at you whenever it's ready. He got an old boy face, the little dude from St. Louis with the fingernail polish 607 Unk or whatever. And that guy wasn't ready for it. You know, he looked at it really like, I'm a celebrity, I was the podcaster, and I put on this persona where I play with the gangs, but I'm not really disrespecting you or trying to do nothing foul. And that guy was like, hell no. You mention my homies, you mention my gang, I'm bringing them up there, we're gonna beat your ass. So and then at that moment, people really got a chance to see how he really is serious about that. You know, gang members are mostly serious about it. But then you talk about the whole internet watching, and he supposedly had brought 40, 50 guys up to the place, no jumper, to actually jump that guy. The guy thought it was a joke too. He was like, you know, I'm a celebrity fan, I'm no jumper hired me. But at the end of the day, he's finna get his ass kicked. And he kind of felt the vibe sitting in that room like it's not good right now. I'm getting the fuck out of here. And anybody would think that, because who want to get jumped by a bunch of people? But especially if the vibe is right there in your face, it's not hidden, you know that this could happen in a moment. You getting the fuck out of there, which he did. And he quit the damn podcast, and he ain't never been back there. He said, fuck going to LA. Now, the guy felt probably a little bit more vindicated by being like that, because he was looking at that shit like, look, I showed everybody what I am. I showed everybody what I do. I'll beat your ass, you play with my game. And he got dude face. He, you know, not necessarily face to face, but he was standing around him, sitting at the table like, I will fuck you up if you play my game. And like I said, a lot of guys, a lot of people are really like that. You know, it ain't necessarily about a gang. It could be about your race. It could be about your lineage. You know, when people are serious about that shit, they waiting on somebody to disrespect them in that, and then they gonna show up. And that's what that dude is. But again, you wouldn't know this unless you disrespected the gang. And that guy was willing to take that chance. And then he, again, said 40 guys was up there to jump him. And this dude was saying, yeah, he was laughing, matter of fact, about it all. Like, yeah, we had all the Crips out there to beat your ass. Old boy's like, damn, man, he realized that you can't play with everybody gang. And then go to their state. Like, wait a minute. So you're going to play with somebody gang and then show up on a motherfucking block that they could come to? Like, what the fuck kind of shit is that? You don't do that. You don't show up. You don't come to where they are and then think it was a joke. But he'd have to understand the right way. And maybe in St. Louis, it's not gangs like that. We know what the hell we know. But he didn't understand that. So everybody kind of looked at old boy for extra kind of upside his head. Like, man, why would you be all on that dude? Why would you treat dude like that? Come on, man. It's just the internet. But he was serious. Like, you do not fucking play with my gang. So again, this is him as a man. You got to respect his manhood. That's what he drive with. That's his reality. That's him. But now a week and a half later, here come the holiday, and boom, and see a lot of people saying that guy, 607 put a what they call it, a root or a curse on him because he does that kind of stuff, or he lives within that little mindset that he feels like he's like a god. He talks kind of wild, man. And if you heard him talk, you'd be like, man, what the fuck this nigga talking about? But no, that's his world. The internet is full of all kind of characters, and that's who he projects to be. So people would say that they think that old boy had put a hex on this guy, but who's to know if that's true? But we all do know that he lost his damn hand, or it blew up, and we don't know the severity of it exactly, but the internet ain't lying on this one. So, and I heard he say he want to get back. Yeah, the Hurricane said, 607 Unc said he sacrificed his own son. Well, you can't always believe everything somebody say on the internet. And another thing about that is that guy, I think he proclaimed he was a drug head or something like that when he was younger. So it's no telling what nobody did, man. You know, the internet, everybody get to be who they want to be. I get to be Hood Films. So yeah, nobody can stop me from being Hood Films. So that guy 607 say who he is or what he did. I never even heard of him before the internet. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm not from St. Louis. And his persona, and whether he telling the truth or not, it's working. You know what I'm saying? Like that other guy that was out there from that area, 5'5" Crip, and he was on the internet before this guy came around with no jumper. And then you just saw his life, you know, what he was doing. I think he started going on other podcasts or TV shows, you know, little stuff. He would start building up. And then I heard that he got locked up after that. And I'm sure he don't want to be in no damn jail, especially with a fan base out here. But what their lives are like in the real life, you just wouldn't know. So even for this guy to have a GoFundMe after he's been online a long time, that's why people are talking about it. Because it's like, damn, are they paying y'all? Like, how much are they paying you? And then you would assume, like, a job. Like, if you on no jumper, No Jump is obviously a millionaire, that he would try to help you in this scenario. Not to say he actually didn't, but we don't think he did, because they probably would have made an announcement. But behind the scenes, you know you're going to make money off this guy, even if you're just making the money off his old content. But the podcast space is not a real 9 to 5. And so that's why most people in the world, in America, in any place you go, they go to real jobs. They don't sit back and try to be podcasters and conversational people or whatever, or even be outside of the workspace, because these are the things you're going to actually need. You're going to forget fame. You're going to need health insurance. You know, forget being known on a podcast. You're going to need a way to take care of yourself and your kids. And the only way to do that is through health, through money, through a job, through a way. So is it their fault they don't have insurance for him? Or is it his fault that he don't have a professional contract with them, with a professional lawyer, so it could guarantee him a certain amount of money so he could pay into that type of stuff? That's really what contracts and jobs is. You know, you have to be able to leverage yourself so that you can make these conversations. You know what I'm saying? I remember, what was his name? Charleston White was talking about how he was making like $16,000 a month on a podcast, talking on YouTube, and they canceled his channel. But he was relying on that $16,000 a month. So you trying to get out there and your hand is taking off. You're gonna need whatever these podcasts are bringing into you. He got definitely a conversation that he could have for the first interview, and then possibly he could probably write a book or be in a Tubi movie or something, and or even make a character from the one hand thing. You know what I'm saying? Like that he could try to make money from, because that's what you're gonna need. Ain't nobody gonna want to understand nothing else. You're gonna have to try to make some money from the situation you find yourself in. So it's just really one of those horrible moments in that guy's life, and you wouldn't wish that on nobody. You know what I'm saying? You would wish that people would be able to be safe in their endeavors. You know what I'm saying? But you know. But somebody else said something, because you heard him very excited when he had those M80s in his hand. He was walking around fun. It was like a good moment for him. You know what I'm saying? Just happy. Just kicking it 4th of July. You can't know the future. You can't know. And then the people were saying that wax that's on the bomb, that stuff can be faulty. So sometimes you'll get it when it burns slow. Sometimes you'll get it when it burns fast. But they said sometimes the wax, it'll wear off on its own. And then they said that wax that's on there that goes down into the thing to ignite the bomb is actually to help ignite the bomb. So it's actually basically the sizzle is basically setting up the bomb to blow up, you know, which we can already imagine. But it's saying that the whole process is danger. And they set this certain amount of wax on there to make it go slow, but then all of it don't do that. It's thousands of them damn things made. So how you know which one you got? So that's why they say you have to probably be professional, or even get professionals to be around you. But then, you know, to have the M80 in your hand, even when I was a kid, and they were very small, like this big, and people would try to, not even so much throw them, but hit them and run, you know, put the fur on it and run. I never seen too many people try to throw them. However, that does happen. But I remember in my own vision of seeing somebody try to throw one, and it goes up in the air just a little bit away from their face, because it blows so fast. So the person will throw it and it's bombing before they can even get too far away. You know what I'm saying? So the idea is just to light it and run. But who would know that? And again, who would know every single time to do that? This is fun. This is a fun time. So he got the lighter, he had it in his hand and this is what they claim happened, that when he actually lit it, it ignited immediately. So it didn't do the sizzle, like it's like as soon as he popped the light on there, it bombed straight away. You know, because again, the fire from the paper is supposed to help ignite the actual bomb. So that's really what happened to that guy in that scenario, which is what they claiming. But ultimately, it don't matter what happened. You know, and I had that car accident recently. I kept seeing it in my head, you know, the impact is right actually at the very moment of the car hitting me, and you seeing it with your eyes, not him coming, because I didn't see him coming. I just turned my face and you could see the impact, boom, in your car in the front. And it's like, shit, you keep seeing that. You keep seeing it in your head. Now imagine a bomb blowing up on your hand, and you actually close your eyes because of the bomb splash, but it was just enough for you to see it happening in your head. And then now that keep playing in your brain. This is why you really need a GoFundMe. This is why you really need health insurance, because these are the things that run your ass crazy. And I'm talking about literally run you crazy. I'm not even making this up. people will end up becoming alcoholics. You'll probably be hooked on some drugs. You've seen many people in your life, and especially I'm from a big city, and they be on the trains and they be limping or whatever, or having a crutch, and they be disheveled, like completely whacked out. Or you even seen people that's like homeless, and they might be from the army or some kind of marine, and they be mentally gone, and they might even have all their body and everything working fine, but mentally they're not able to go on, PTSD and things like that. So it's a lot of those elements that's not necessarily hip-hop, that's not necessarily culturally fun, it's not necessarily going to be a music video popping up about this kind of stuff, but it's actually something that every human is going to have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Or even imagine people not talking to you no more because they can't be around a handicapped person. It bothers them. Like, oh man, he's handicapped, I can't be around that. You know, I don't want to be around that. You know what I'm saying? It's like you stop even talking to people who you know and like you, or you thought liked you, because of your new scenario. And it's like, I can't hang. I don't want to be around you. You know what I'm saying? So initially, with him being young, I imagine the first couple of weeks, if not months, he's gonna be getting drunk. He's gonna be drinking real heavy because of the new life, the new lifestyle. He's gonna be drinking a lot, you know. And if I don't know if he smoke or do drugs, matter of fact, I think he said he don't drink or smoke. That kid said he don't do nothing. Matter of fact, he don't drink or smoke. So if he indulged in any of that shit, which was from the sorrow and from the new pain, that could be something that happens. So you gotta kind of play it by ear, if you will, and see what go on. Because right now he's kind of tucked away. He's quiet. He's not out there talking about it really a lot. And himself, you know, everybody online is talking about it. But eventually he's going to come out the shell and he's going to speak on it. And then people are going to want to interview him and talk about it over and over. And then another thing that's literally going to happen is when that video actually comes out, if it's not out already, with no cover up, there's no censorship on it, and then you could just literally see it. And I ain't just talking about on X, you know, on Twitter. I'm talking about in anything you look at, it's running. It's running through your stuff. You wake up at 3 a.m. and you pop your phone on, and it's like, whoa, shit, that's how it looked. And imagine, from what I saw, it could have been fake though. It was literally all gone. Like, I don't know if that's true though, because I wasn't sure if that was the actual photo from it, but it was like all gone and it was just red. And then somebody else said it was fingers left, so I don't know if I saw the right one. But when I saw it, from my visual standpoint, it was literally just a hole. Like nothing was there except from here. But I don't know if that's true. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many photos and videos, and a lot of them are covered up. So somebody could have photoshopped that. You just don't know. But again, when he come out and the actual video and photos start rolling, that's gonna run him crazy as hell. You know, especially it's your shit too, and people tagging you in the fuck out of it because you're such a fancy or famous person. So you like, damn man, would y'all stop doing this stupid ass shit? Man, calm the fuck down, man. You know, but people might like you, you know, whatever the thing is of being a famous podcaster and all this, a rapper, you know what I'm saying? So it's really one of those phenomenons that he just got to kind of deal with in his new life of get money, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully it'll be something to help him get to the next stage, because, you know, I don't even know if he got kids right now, you know what I'm saying? Or I heard he was married, but is that true? I'm not sure. But if he is, you know, she gonna have to have a lot of stress dealing with the mental override of him having to go through that, you know what I'm saying? And then a lot of us, when you know, black or whatever culture, you talk like your neighborhood, like he talks like where he from. So when you hear him talk, is from Vernon Ave on 40, you know, he talks like that. So that means, like, how you gonna be able to articulate yourself when it comes to something outside of the streets or the block or the hood or your friends? Now you gotta articulate yourself to doctors and specialists and motherfuckers who don't even know nothing about California, matter of fact, and they just being like, hey, I'm from over here, we got the study on this prosthetic, I think it'll fit your hand. And then you on the phone like, on 40 crip, I want that. They like, well, it's not 40. What are you saying? You know, so, and he's not able to articulate himself because, again, these are new realms of life that you find yourself in. It's like you got to go in there and tell people what's going on, and you got to be able to say it in English words where people can understand you, and not necessarily the vernacular from your neighborhood block. You know, that ain't saying he can't do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying his persona, you know, how you gonna use that to go and get this through, you know what I'm saying? And they might have some kind of hand that they can attach to your body. You know, it looked like that he wasn't able to save his hand at the moment, but at the moment of the explosion. But maybe some kind of doctors out there could put something on there that's close to, you know, what you had, or something that they building or something. And then imagine this, inside that world of prosthetic hands, do they have a black hand? Can you find somebody that's going to color your hand black? What if they color your hand black and it's blacker than your goddamn skin color? You know what I'm saying? What if they color it and it's too light skinned? And you keep reaching this prosthetic hand and looking at a white man hand and shit like, man, what the fuck, man? Y'all got to work on this, man. Come on, how are the prosthetic hands white? This ain't even fucking real. You know what I'm saying? But these are the elements that you will have to really work into to bring awareness to this world. You know what I'm saying? Because again, it's probably a lot of people who ain't even, that's probably on the list already to get a prosthetic hand, and then here you come with your celebrity thinking that, okay, well, hey, not unless they gonna fuck with me, and they like, yeah, you on the list now. There's 27,000 people on the list, and you get to be on the list. Because if it wasn't done through health or through some malpractice or something like that, or, you know, born like that, then this is a tragedy. So you get on this particular list for people that went through this. And then you like, what? You know, it's like a world that you have to find out about. You know what I'm saying? And you don't know nothing about it today. You know what I'm saying? It's literally a challenge. You know what I'm saying? Because of how do you become a handicapped human when you've been living as a regular person your whole life? You know what I'm saying? And then, like, you know, sometimes you think that if you go jogging, you know, if you jog, if you eat right, you know, you would reverse some kind of disease. If you stop living that way, or drinking or smoking, you know, or stressing, that, you know, with the blood pressure, whatever it is, or subside, you know what I'm saying? You'll probably be able to live again or be better. But, you know, this stuff doesn't fix. There's no fix for it. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's no doctor with some medicine in another country on an island somewhere. It's not some holistic shit you could take, you know what I'm saying, and get your body back right. You can't fast, you know what I'm saying, and then things are coming together. You know, you can't be sad and overeat, and then you'll start feeling good about it. You know, it's like nothing. You know, he's a health person, so maybe he'll continue that world and stay within it. You know what I'm saying? But getting a GoFundMe to help him is really telling, because how many people is gangster tough murderers and they ain't got no insurance and ain't got no job to help them? How many people are not that? You ain't gangster, you ain't shit, you don't swing on nothing and still ain't got no insurance and ain't got none of that stuff. It's real life. It's like the actual part of real life that when you growing up, you know you're gonna get that one day, but then it just all of a sudden overnight pop out, and it's today. You gotta have insurance, you gotta have a crib to stay in, you got to have the medical shit that they gonna bring to that crib, you gotta have the stuff in a healthy location so you could bring it. You know what I'm saying? What if he stay at the hood block spot where everybody, he been there, like it's no problem, everybody come there, kick it with him and shit, crackhead slide through, whatever. Like, what if he stay in an unhealthy environment? It's no peroxide in that motherfucker. There's no alcohol. There's no alcohol pads. You know what I'm saying? It's loud. When you get to the crib, it's everybody in here. They playing cards, they loud. You know, you might have to get away from all that shit just to have some peaceful, quiet time to keep your brain calm. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't even been, you don't have to live calm. You young. So it's like, I'm at my boy crib every fucking day. What the fuck you mean I'm finna stop? Hell no. Shit, we got the crib. You know, just well, I did the shit when I was coming up, so you're not thinking about that. And then all of a sudden, most times what grow you up is a baby. You know what I'm saying? You have a child, and then all of a sudden, I got to take care of the baby. That's most times what grow you up. Or somebody get a job somewhere, or have to leave town or something like that. Then that kind of force you to get back to adult life because you're not around your friends no more, keeping you delinquent. You know what I'm saying? So it's things that happen that grow you up. But now, again, for this moment, it's like this just grow you up overnight. And it's like you got to have a certain level of insurance. You got to have an environment that's clean. You got to have a way where you can elevate your arm to sleep. You know how they be telling you all this medical shit? You know what I'm saying? You got to take your pills. What if they make you oversleep? You know, all of the health pills to keep the pain down. What if it make you oversleep? What if you what that shit is called? Constipated. You can't even use the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I had my car accident. Well, and I think I had hernia surgery or something like that. I couldn't even use the bathroom for like 4 days, 5 days, taking them heavy ass pills. It was like, god damn, and that was scary because that had never happened to me. But I'm like, it wouldn't work. You know what I'm saying? So now that was just having a surgery. You know what I'm saying? But now imagine an amputation or a tragic surgery, and now you sitting back like having to go revisit the doctor every 2 weeks. These specialists talking to you, they need to research your hand and get back to it. So now you can't just sit back and chill. You jumping in Ubers, riding all across town to go speak to some doctor. The Uber driving crazy as fuck. And you in this motherfucker like, hey, this is happening too much. And then they might even hit you, but you know, that's, I know your sister, we consider this handicapped. They'll send a bus over there to pick you up and bring you. It's like $1.50 if you want. If you in this, you get the little thing to park in the front. Now, it's a lot of stuff that we haven't really fathomed or even gathered or even thought through because it's not happening to us or nobody that's our family member, but we know about it. You know what I'm saying? But it's happening to somebody else. So it's like, damn, I wonder what that person gonna do to get through this. You know what I'm saying? I wonder if this is something I could even get through. You know what I'm saying? Because even as a human myself, you're losing a limb is really different level, or even elements of your limb is different level. It's different level. Even in the slave days, they had a movie. Well, they had a movie about the slave days when I was a kid. It was called Roots. And the movie, it was called Roots. And it was a guy in that movie we called Kunta Kinte, which is like the main character. But at one point, he became a runaway slave, and they caught him. And in the movie, as a kid, I had to be like 10, 9, 7, some shit like that. This is on TV. You couldn't turn. It was on every fucking channel. It was actually on the main channel. So as I was a kid, he said they made y'all watch it in high school. They racist as hell for making y'all watch that in high school. But that's, this was on TV. It was like a mini series and shit. It was big than a motherfucker. But anyway, the guy in the main character was a runaway slave, and they caught him. And they showed this in the movie when we was kids, how the white dudes caught him, and he took a big ass machete and they chopped off his big toe. He said I was the only black kid in class. Damn. They knew you was in that motherfucker Stoner Trap. They was like, yeah, okay, for real. We know what to play Tuesday. We got a black kid in there. You lucky they ain't play that other shit, the Birth of a Nation, on your ass. You probably would have turned to a damn serial killer on their white ass. But they played that one. That's funny. But anyway, make a long story short, they did chop the dude's toe off, and they made sure we watched it like it was a part of the movie. It was a real tragic scene, but it was like, damn, they letting you know that they cut off his toe. But when we was understanding it, watching it, you saying like, damn, but they used to be like, yeah, they used to cut off their motherfucking dick, though. They really used to cut off their testicles. And you like, what? Huh? And in the movie, obviously they ain't go that far. They just cut off his toe. So it was a joke. Since we saw that as a little kid, it's always been a running joke. Man, they gonna cut them white people, catch you and cut your damn toe off, right? So that was just a running joke. But it's scary to think that 5, 6 people could grab you and then chop your damn something off. You know what I'm saying? And imagine nothing like that have happened, because it's supposed to be not so much as that racism going on like it was back then. But now this guy is dealing with the same reality of that. And it's a video or a photo of it happening in the actual moment. You know what I'm saying? And you see some older brothers and shit, they might have worked in machinery businesses or places, and then you would see them and they missing a finger or missing a thumb or missing some kind of fingernail. And you wonder to yourself, what happened to you, man? Oh, it happened to me when I used to work down at the la la la. You like, what the fuck? Scary as shit. Oh, wow. Okay, thanks for telling me. So now, this what old boy got, a story. Anytime a person walk up on, they gonna be like, man, have your arm. Wait a minute, you a boy? Or the little kids, the little kids yelling at you like, yo, busted hand. Hey, you fucked up. Hey, like little shorties dogging you out. You know what I'm saying? Like dude jumping, talking about big nose. As soon as you get on live, they just gonna instantly be like, yo, no hand, just going crazy on you. You got to take all that. You can't fight everybody. You can't respond to everybody. But that's a part of that, being that celebrity shit. Like, damn, you know what I'm saying? But luckily he didn't die, because they say one of the guys that was out there as well is smashed in his face. And it's supposed to, whether that happened or not, I don't know. You're not really knowing if any of that shit's true. But he had to get a GoFundMe to try to fund some of that shit he's dealing with as far as the money that it's going to cost to go to any medical situation. The co-pays and all that shit. But what might happen for him, or at least in a movie that I would make, he'll meet some girl who ultimately is going to school for occupational therapy, and then he'll end up meeting her. But she ain't from the street, she ain't from the hood, but she understands that his plight, and he just from the hood, clashing with the doctors, clashing with the specialists, like, man, this shit stupid. Hey, they gotta give him all these shots in his fucking arm and shit just to numb it so they can handle him, and he and this bitch going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Everybody like, man, you gotta calm down, sir. He like, man, fuck that. I don't give a fuck, nigga. Let me out this bitch on Crip, on Vernon Ave. I'm tired of this punk ass shit. And they like, hey, we can't help you if you don't calm down. And then old girl, he said, you take a risk playing with these big fireworks, some of them real explosive. Yeah, you right, Stoner. And they said that wiki stick that was on there that burns down to it, that didn't work this time. They're supposed to have a certain level of wax and a certain level of igniting shit in it. And as it's going down, it's going to help ignite the bomb. But as we all know, you light it. We've always seen the bomb. You know, the string gets smaller as it goes into the bomb. But that didn't happen this time. As soon as he lit it, it bombed up. But that does happen with those items. So even though it might be tragic what happened to him, it's not abnormal. You know, you can find some of those in the game when they build them all out, when they making all the fucking firecrackers at the machinery or the fucking spot. You can actually get some that's not actually right, that the wax might have melted on it, that the wax might have fell off or rubbed off. It's a part of any game or of anything that you're getting. You might not know which one you got. You know what I'm saying? And then that obviously was one that he had, or a box of them that if you use them motherfuckers, they just automatically bomb. And look, if that was a little girl or a little white kid or something like that, they'd have went to that spot and shut that motherfucker down. They'd have been like, this shit ain't happening no more. You ain't bombing nobody else. Steve O. Stoner said, too much of a gamble. He played Russian roulette. Yeah, but I don't even think he even understood the level of danger. Because, you know, imagine he was just fighting a case in lockup and he beat it. He was fighting a murder or a double murder, whatever part of murder he was fighting. And then he was locked up for years. That's why he was Squabble King. That's why he in super shape. So he's not fathoming the danger. So you can even see him walking in the store. He like, yeah, I'm finna blow somebody's crib up. I'm finna blow a motherfucker up. He's not thinking of the danger level that he's gonna have to endure as he actually sets this thing on fire. He's thinking that it's gonna be fun. He gonna run from it. That was crazy to the motherfucker. And then somebody else gonna do it. But he did one thing, obviously, we all know that was wrong, is he kept it in his hand. He kept it right here. He kept it like this. So you almost think he was putting his hand in a lion's mouth or a dog mouth to test to see if the shit was sharp. He kept it in his hand. And not knowing how fast that wiki stickers, who knows? I remember when we was kids, people would walk up and be like, hey man, we got a box of, well, not a box, but you know, a little brick of firecrackers and shit. Give me $5. You like, $5? Hell yeah, this is the 4th of July, I ain't got none. And you would give it to them. And now you got you a box of firecrackers. And then you walk your ass over there to try to light them, and they popping fast as hell. You can't run. It's like, damn, they got a whole fucking this nigga game. And actually, when we was kids, we used to call them duds. So if they burn fast, or if they don't pop at all, you would call them duds. The only ones that wasn't duds is the ones that worked the way you imagine. They go down to the fire and bomb. But if it lit immediately, like if you put the fire on it, then, pow, then you knew that was a dud. And if you put the fire on it and it went all the way into the damn firecracker and it didn't blow at all, then you knew that was a dud. So you won't know if they're a dud unless you actually test it out. So when we was kids, the idea, we didn't have that stick fire, you know how you could light your fire grill? We didn't have that. You had to fucking pop of matches. You didn't even have no motherfucking fire, what that shit called like that, the lighter. We were shorties. You didn't have that. So you had a box of matches. And you light that motherfucker and put that bitch down there, and then you had to run your ass off. You know what I'm saying? Because you knew that those were duds, because they gave you bought it for like $5 for like 100 or however many was in there. And so you knew when you lit them, they'll pop like a motherfucker. So one of the older dudes was like, don't be popping them individually. Just light the whole motherfucking thing on and run. But then now you're talking about all them bitches going off at the same time. So remember, you trying to pop one and run, but they popping so fast you can't get away. So now you try to light all them bitches at once. You know, you got to twist all them holes, and then you light them bitches and go. And them bitches like, before you go, you getting hit in the back of your ass with them bitches because they just duds. And then by the time you come back and see them, a few didn't pop. You know what I'm saying? So now you got to retwist them, or you just say, man, fuck the motherfuckers, man. That shit too. I'm not playing with them. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to get hurt. So I don't think he understood that. He never did probably have a chance that day to play with some regular firecrackers. He should have had a stages. He should have had a moment. He should have been like, hey, take these smoke bombs and these sparklers. You know what I'm saying? But he 40 Crip. Ain't nobody finna talk to him like that. Be like, hey, nigga, take these sparklers, light these up. Because I remember as I got older, people was lighting them bitches up. Yup. You said them bombs. And look, dude had, when we was shorties, they would have the sparklers like this shit. You know how them little sparklers? Yeah, all at once. Yup. He said, like them motherfuckers all at once. Yup. Stoner, you know it. You like, don't be trying to like them bitches solo. You gonna fuck yourself up. Like all that shit one time, get the fuck out of there. And that's what you did. You know what I'm saying? If you could get the fuck away fast enough, because I'm trying to tell you, they were duds. So that means if you put the fire on them, they automatically crack. You know, I wasn't no damn scientist in them motherfucking firecrackers. You just knew that them was duds. You got the fuck out of there. But he had a dud. And so when he lit it, Boom. You ain't got no chance to run. You got no chance to get out of there. You don't know the wax level. You didn't make the fucking thing. They're supposed to work the way they supposed to work, right? But then the people say, you better have somebody professional over there fucking with you. You better make sure you know what the fuck you're doing. You better make sure somebody is able to show you the safety level of that. And if they not, anything can happen. And like I said on TV up here, every day they've been popping since the 4th that some kid 11 years old blew himself up. He in a hospital fucked up right now, but he's a child. So he either sneaked them and got away like most kids would do, or he was just too close to it, or he had a dud where he tried to light the damn thing and it just blew up. But you wouldn't know. You know what I'm saying? That's actually what stopped me from fucking with firecrackers, is because you can catch duds. You know what I'm saying? And then what's the moment you got one? You know what I'm saying? How would you know? Only one way of finding out, you got to try to light that bitch. And then you would figure out what it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what happened to him. Not knowing the level of wax on that thing, if it was a dud, what box he got out of it, you know what I'm saying? He just thinking like, I'm finna throw it. And then imagine the idea. Imagine the idea. So the wax thing, the stem is probably about that big. You saw the fucking thing. The thing was huge. He had a big motherfucker. So now he imagining he got enough time to arch this bitch and throw it. See, that right there is your problem. Because you talking about coming back here and tossing some shit. You supposed to have the motherfucker, if it's in your hand, as soon as you like the bitch, you drop that bitch and go. But then again, if you ain't practiced with this shit, you didn't fuck with no baby firecrackers, you ain't had no smoke bombs, you ain't shot no bottle rockets, you went straight to the fucking M1000, the M180, whatever number he had. He went straight to that box and had 2 of them bitches. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like he was basically playing like a game of Russian roulette, like you said. Stoner, he don't know what he gonna get. You don't know. And then he light that joint, and boom. That could happen to anybody. That could happen to anybody. People were saying that they thought that the Iranians had to put some C4 in it because of the level of the explosion. You know what I'm saying? But not knowing how big a bomb explosion gonna be because you haven't seen it explode prior to that moment, you would think all kind of shit. You would think a fucking house blew up because you were so close to that bomb hit. You know what I'm saying? And then you know how it happens, right? The light comes before the sound. So it'll splash, and then you saw it happen, and then all of a sudden the hit, the impact from the sound. Boom! But now you're not a block away. You're not in the car. You standing 2.2 feet away from this shit. You probably can't even fucking hear no more. They say he went temporarily blind. That's the level of light that splashed in front of his face at the moment of that impact. And now he's stuck with that. You like, damn, again, this shit is gonna play in your head. You'll be telling your kids about this shit. Like, look, man, 4th of July next year, that nigga gonna probably be doing walkthroughs and shit about, he gonna have a white jacket on, walking through that motherfucker with a notepad, like anybody's safety first. We gonna make sure all these motherfuckers are safe. You know what I'm saying? Y'all pay me to come and make sure these fireworks right. Because everybody love fireworks, everybody love having fun, but nobody think about the danger level that you can have. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it was a boating accident in Chicago, like the first weekend, literally the first weekend of the summer. Everybody was outside, like 95 degrees. And a girl fell in the water at the lake. You know, this is a scary spot because everybody go to the fucking lake. Come on, get out of here. Whole damn city. So she go to the lake, they on the boat, got about bing, bing, bing. She fall off into the water. Her and another dude, they fall into the water on the boat. They didn't, now this on 63rd. I know y'all don't know the distance, but this on 63rd when she fall into the water. You can consider that the south side. They don't find her body until the next day at Navy Pier. That's probably about 14 miles away. This is where they found her body outside in the water because she couldn't understand the level of danger of being on that boat. It's the summertime, she kicking it. What the fuck could go wrong? But when she fell into the water, it's not like in a movie where she's right there. When she fell in the water, the current grabbed her. And it could grab anybody. It don't matter how big you are, how strong you are, how much fucking power you got. When the current snatch your ass, you can't swim back up. You know, and you don't know where the current is. It ain't standing at the top of the water saying, we current. You got to figure it out only one way, and that's by getting in the water. And then they yanked her. And they took her ass to Navy Pier, which if you understood the distance, you'd be like, what? They found her where? They fucking shocked the shit out of me. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. The next day. So you already know what happened. All kind of fish ate her fucking eyeballs and did all that shit because you in the water, you food. You know what I'm saying? So, and then they never found the guy who fell in the water as well because the current grabbed him. They hadn't found him at the time when I heard that story. And I heard about it a week later. But it was just like, damn. This is the day of the summer when it's kicking off. So again, just like him on the 4th of July, you're not thinking that something's going to go wrong. It's so far-fetched that for you to go, what's going to no, if it happens, it's going to be somebody else. So they jumped out there with the firecracker, and he can't imagine that this one going to mess up. And it did, but then there's no point of return. You can't run it back. You can't go backwards in time. You can't, now I understand. Let's do that again. It's like forevermore, the situation is stuck into your life forever. And you'll never be able to grasp. You will never be able to pick your child up, and especially being a right dominant hand person, that's crazy. When I was a teenager, gang fights was happening. And so I got into one, and I had to punch somebody, but I had jammed my wrist, so it swole up big as a bitch. So by the time later that day, they was coming to scrape me in a little study hall, I couldn't even fight back. They didn't do shit. Don't get it fucked up. But my shit was like this. I was like, damn, if I fight these niggas, ain't no way I can fucking win. Because I hit old boy early at like 8 a.m. So now it's like fucking 2:30 in the afternoon. These niggas at my motherfucking study hall. Like, I know where your ass at. So I had to come out there and confront it. But nothing happened. So after my shit was so fucked up that summer, I'm 14. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I can't hoop. That's what I love to fucking do. So I'm like, you can't do this with your hand. This bitch is stuck. So one of the homies out there, my buddy Derek Johnson, he's a little older than me. He was hooping with his left hand. I just saw it, and I was like, damn, how the fuck you doing that? He said, I practice this shit every day. I'm like, show me how to do that shit. So then he started showing me that summer how to shoot my left hand. So every fucking year, even to this day, when I hoop with both fucking hands. Even though my wrist came back, you know, I was able to get obviously stronger. It worked out again. But as a kid, I started having to shoot my motherfucking left, and I got good than a bitch with that shit. I be competing with motherfuckers. I even started betting niggas. Like, yeah, I go all left on your bitch ass the whole game, because that was what I was practicing to do. I got extremely good at it, you know, bet. But I had both hands. So imagine this guy having to switch from being a righty to a lefty. You know what I'm saying? Sign your name. It's like, what the fuck? I forgot about that. You gotta sign your name on shit. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying, you just sitting on the right side or something, and you gotta reach your motherfucking arm over to get it and yank that bitch back. You know what I'm saying? Or pick something, your mind automatically, since you're a righty, you just reach for shit automatically, because it's only just happened, what, a month ago or 3 years ago, and your brain's still locked into the righty mindset. You know what I'm saying? So that's right there something that's gonna be a psychological help for him, whether you doing sports or doing something. But he could be left dominant. I don't know. You know, you don't know a person personally. Most guys, most people are right dominant. So I'm saying if he is right dominant, that's something he gonna have to fucking do. So that by the time he got 10, 20 years of using his left hand more, that motherfucker will be strong. So he can goddamn it go do everything with his left now. It'll just be a normal practice. You lifting your iPad up, you lifting your left hand. You grabbing a cup of water, you lifting your left hand. You reaching to say what's up to a person, you pounding with your left hand. You know what I'm saying? You're not even putting your right hand up there. Because imagine your right hand fucked up, but then you start bumping shit. You start bumping into shit. You know, like you doing shit and hitting that, what the fuck? You know, you doing, you know what I'm saying? You're on an airplane, you trying to cut the little fan on, it's hot in that bitch, but you keep putting your right hand up, you got to keep switching back to your left. You know, your left hand be swollen the motherfucker because you're using that bitch so much now. It's like, boy, this motherfucker left hand cold, boy. Hey, nigga, I got power in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? So, because you got to start using that motherfucker more. You're not able to use your right hand like that no more. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of stuff that it's going to really be a challenge for a boy. And in this particular scenario, man. And everything I just said in this video, I want y'all to like it, share it, put it out there to the world. I like y'all. I appreciate y'all watching this video right here, man. We spoke about it. We talked about it. We gave him a little conversation about it. I think all those elements I poked out or I pointed out was definitely something that he's going to be dealing with in the future. So y'all can let me know in the rest of the comment section what else he got going on that you just think of right now. What would you do if you was dealing with no hand? Either one, you know, even no foot, like what would you do? You know what I'm saying? Well, how would you go on like that? You know, how would you deal with somebody talking shit to you? You know, somebody like your cousin and shit, like, get your one hand ass out of here. You like, nigga, come on, man. Like, you know, I'm just fucking with you, nigga. But you still got to keep hearing this shit. Like, damn, or your lady talking to you like, you ain't gonna put your hands on me, motherfucker, with your one hand ass. I'll call you. And this bitch like, damn. Every time I turn around, they call me money. Like, this is some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But it's a part of the game, you know what I'm saying? Just like dude popped in here and was cracking jokes, it's like instant. It's not even like they mean no harm. They not disrespecting you. They don't fucking mean no harm. It's just the way it go. When I see you, what's up, we're going to talk about your ass just to say hi. and that's just not no foul thing. It's just some people kick it like that. And well, ain't nothing wrong with it. They ain't trying to make you fucking commit suicide. These are talking shit. But if you already dealing with some shit, that shit can hurt, man. That shit can really fucking hurt. And it really can be like cutting deep as a fuck if you don't really understand it. It can hurt you hard, but you gotta be strong. So let me know how you're gonna be able to handle it if you're going through something like this. Like, share, and subscribe again in the future. I appreciate y'all. We're gonna be back on here talking about some more stuff in a minute. Peace out.